Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel, where I sift through thoughts and ideas while playing video games. I hope everyone's having a good day. This week, I wanted to talk about 7 questions that everybody in their 20s should ask themselves. Alright, so let's get right into it. First question: how do I envision my ideal life? I think for this question, the word envision and ideal are very important here. This is not planning for your future. This is not figuring anything out actively. This is just envisioning what you want your ideal life to be. Just putting yourself in the perfect situation that you can be in and seeing where that is, and not figuring out active things to get there, but just envisioning it and almost like dreaming about it. Removing the pressure of having to figure it out and just allowing yourself to live in that fantasy, basically. And this is important because when you're in your 20s, there's a lot of pressure in society for you to figure out what you're supposed to be doing and start doing it. And it's really easy to get down on yourself if you're not fulfilling the ideas that you have in your head. So for me, when I was in my mid-20s, I really wanted to be a musician. I wanted to have a career in music, make all my income off of just music. It is still something that's possible for me to do, but I've decided that I like to live my life more simply, and luckily the job I have now is allowing me to be at home and pretty much live my life how I want to live it without the stress of, having to worry about what I'm going to do with my career in music. So my perspective on this has changed, but the essence of it is definitely still the same. All right, question number 2. What will working 40 hours a week on top of 40 hours on my art look like? Now, this one I'm going to change a little bit because this is not just about art. So I'm going to change it to: what will working 40 hours a week on top of pursuing my passion look like? So right off the bat, at the time, had this idea in my head that even though I was working full time, that in order for me to be successful pursuing my passion, which was music and art, I had to also work 40 hours a week on that. So basically have 2 full-time jobs. And that works for some people. I'm sure that the more hours you put in, the further along you'll get, of course, but it's a really easy way to burn yourself out at an early age. And I don't recommend doing that. I recommend doing what feels comfortable. And if you're really passionate about something and you really enjoy working on it, you're going to find the time to do it. And if you don't, then you're not going to be inclined to do it. So try to listen to that within yourself and see where that takes you, just what you naturally would want to be working on. And obviously, some people's lives are more stressful than others. Some people's jobs are more draining than others. So it's really a matter of what works for you. There's no one answer to do something to get to a certain point. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's pursuit is different. So just try to find time to make a priority to do things that you enjoy. That's really what it comes down to. And if that ends up being something else, that's great. Again, for some people, that hustle culture, maybe it works for them, but I just found it really doesn't work for me. Okay, question number 3. What is my ideal daily routine? Now, this, in my opinion, is probably the most important question on this list because it's what you're actually doing on a daily basis. Like, you can have this idea of what you want to do in your life, but when you actually break it down and figure out what you're doing on a daily basis, it might be a lot more stressful than you think, or not what you actually want to be doing. I'll use myself as an example again. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to pursue music as a career. I'm the type of person that likes to be inside all the time, at home, by myself, just doing my own thing. So in order for me to be a successful musician living off my music, that most likely is going to require me to play shows and go on tours and stuff. And that's not something that I actually enjoy doing. Also, in order for me to really be successful in the music industry, you have to collaborate with other people often. And you might have to make some music that isn't exactly what you would want to make, but it's a good thing to make for money purposes. And I don't like doing that. It makes art feel like homework. I use art as a form of self-expression, so I realized pretty quickly that it's not something that I want to be doing. And at the end of the day, what you do on a daily basis is your life. You may have these goals that you want to achieve, but that's going to be a moment. So really think about what you want to do on a daily basis and then form your pursuits around that. I think that's probably the best thing you can do. Okay, question number 4. How will I build better eating habits? Now, this one may seem silly if you're in your early 20s, even your mid 20s, and you know what? Maybe it is silly for then, but now that I'm 30 years old, I can feel that my body has aged, and I can feel that I'm not able to do things that I was once able to do without even thinking about it. Like skateboarding and playing soccer are two things that I really enjoy. And I used to just do that on a whim whenever when I was younger. And now it's like I have to make sure I stretch. I have to make sure that I'm warming up. I have to make sure that I'm not doing too much all at once, because I can either easily injure myself or really exhaust myself very quickly. So a lot of that has to do with what you're eating. And again, if you're in your early 20s, this doesn't matter as much, but just keep in your mind as you get older and closer to 30, what you're putting in your body starts to matter more. And, you don't have to be like, you don't have to have like this perfect diet. Like, I still eat fast food sometimes. I still eat candy sometimes. Like, there's a balance where you can enjoy your life while also taking care of yourself. So it's just something to think about, something that I didn't think about until it started affecting me. So I do wish that I started considering this earlier in my 20s than I did. But, better late than never. I'm definitely improving on that now. I'm eating healthier in general, and I'm getting out of my apartment more and getting some exercise in, at least minimal exercise, just to keep up with it's really maintenance. It's not even like cardio or weight training or anything like that. It's really just maintaining a healthy, movable body. That's really what it comes down to, for me at least. So just something to think about, in my opinion. Okay, question number 5. What will I do to actively curb my desires in a healthy way? Now, this can be interpreted a couple different ways, so let me just explain where I'm coming from. Desires can be described as a lot of different things. Physical desires, life goals, stuff like that. Eating shitty, to kind of go back to the last one. Being lazy, it's very desirable to just sit around and do nothing all day, at least for me. And I do think it's very important to not rob yourself of joy in life and just be working all the time. There's some people that literally will feel guilt if they do something that they enjoy because they're not working. And I don't know, maybe for some people that works. I really don't think it does in the long run. You have to enjoy certain things in your life in order for you to want to get through your life. It's really that simple. But what I mean by curbing your desires in a healthy way is not letting your desires rule your life. Like, the pursuit of laziness could be the motivating factor in your life, and that's not going to actually bring you any joy because you're not going to be doing anything that you really want to be doing. You know what? Does that make sense? Like, sitting around and doing nothing is definitely something that I love to do, but I can't do that all the time or else I start to, go a little crazy. So it's important to prioritize joy, but not let desire run your entire life. And this is different for everybody. Everybody has their own struggles and, ideas of what they would actually want to be doing on a daily basis. So just try to make sure you're approaching that in a healthy way, not robbing yourself of joy and not letting, your desires completely run your life. Okay, last 2 questions. Question number 6. What is my plan to save money? Now, I am not good with money. I don't really think that it's necessary to save a lot of money. I like to spend my money, but there are certain things that it's important to save your money for. For example, if you're in your early to mid 20s, there's a good chance that you're still living with your parents. And moving out costs more money than you think it does. At least that was the case for me. I guess I could say the first time I moved out when I was 21, I was not living in a very good situation, so I didn't really need a lot of money, but I don't really recommend that for everybody. But, you have to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit. You might have to get a broker. You have to pay to move all your stuff out there. You have to pay to get furniture for your apartment, to get food for your apartment, stuff like that. So those costs add up very quickly. Or like maybe where you're living, you need a car to get to where you're going. That's going to cost money. Either buying a used one or like leasing a car or something like that. So there are big picture life things that require a decent amount of money. So you don't have to go too crazy with saving your money. Again, you should still be enjoying your life, but if you know that you have a certain goal that you want to hit, such as getting your own apartment, just make sure that you're putting a little bit of money aside, saving for that goal, because it's going to cost more than you think it is, and you're not going to be able to save as quickly as you think you can. So that's just something that I learned. I'm not good with money, so I can't really give my full advice in this because I don't save money very well, but there are going to be big picture things that you need to have money for. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, final question, number 7. How will I keep my body in good physical condition? Now, this kind of goes back to question number 4 with building better eating habits, but that's one component of this. This is the other component, is actually moving your body. I kind of touched on it already, so I'll try to make this one brief, but you got to move your body. I'm the type of person that I love to just sit in my apartment on my computer for 12 hours a day and not move. I love doing that, but it's not good. You got to get some exercise to maintain, your physical health to an extent. But I also think that I learned turning 30, part of this is accepting that there are certain things that you have no control over when it comes to your body. Like in an extreme case, like illness and stuff like that, but your body's just going to get older. Your body's going to change, and you can't really stop that. You can be healthy and you can do your best to maintain it, but you're going to get older. Your body's going to start to deteriorate. And this may sound dramatic. I know I'm only 30, but it's just turning 30 is when I really started to feel this. So I think doing what you can, at least minimal effort to maintain your body, but also accepting that you're going to get older and there's not as much that you can do to stop aging, essentially. So accepting that earlier, I think, is going to be important. I've never been the type of person that's like worried about getting older. I know turning 30 for some people, it's like the worst thing in the world because they're still in the mindset of like being young. But I like being old. I don't feel old. For some people, 30 is old, and for some people, 30 is young. So it really depends on who you ask. I feel relatively young still, but when I, talk to my partner's siblings that are in their early 20s, I feel like a fucking old man. So it's all perspective, but yeah, that pretty much is all I'm trying to say. And that's all 7 questions. For the past couple weeks, I've been going through notes in my phone that I have from 2018 when I was 26 years old, and I'm 30 now, and just kind of seeing where I was at then and comparing it to now. And that's where I got all these questions from. I didn't change them at all. I just took them right out of my notes. And yeah, I have 2 other videos so far going through these notes. And if you're interested in those, the links are in the description below. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed. I put out a video every Sunday talking about, mental health, different things that I go through in my life, stuff like that. So you can check out other videos on the channel. I put out a new video every Sunday. So if you want to come back next week for a new one, you can do that as well. I stream on Twitch a couple times a week, so you check me out there if you want to, come hang out live, ask me questions, stuff like that. Links in the description for that as well. And every video, I do a little bit of original music for the outro, so hope you enjoy that as well, and I'll see you guys next time.